Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So we got breaking news. The Washington Commanders signed Von Miller, former Super Bowl MVP for the Denver Broncos, played with the Rams and won the Super Bowl, played with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, he's one of the best pass rushers of all time, but the last couple of seasons, it hasn't been a lot of production for him. So right now, just waiting on some of the details right here in terms of how much money it is. Let's see. What up, Jams says, let's go. Yep, Von Miller coming to the Washington Commanders. What's up, Josh Brown? What's up, Melvin Davis, Abdullah, my guy, and Rocket. So yeah, Von Miller. They haven't, released the details of how much how much money it is right now. I'm not thinking it's too much. I'm not thinking it's too much, and I'm just going back on Twitter, going to continue to refresh right here. It's a 1 year deal between Von Miller and the Commanders. Two sides are still finalizing terms, so that makes sense for sure. That makes sense. Kamani, it is real. They signed Von Miller. I'll pull it up in a second, the tweet. What's up, Woody, my guy? What's up, Jay Terry? What's up? A bunch of y'all managed 42. Denny's, Melvin, fishing is fun. Pay Heineke, of course. Bo G. So yeah, Von Miller is going to the Washington Commanders. I'll go ahead and pull it up. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and pull up this. Yeah, Terry. We'll talk about Terry in a second, but right now it is Von Miller. Von Miller is what we're going to talk about. So you guys can see the screen right here. So it was Von Miller who announced it on, I don't know, on IG or whatever, but he is going to the Washington Commanders kind of out of nowhere. I guess it's before training camp. They wanted to get this done, and they got it done. I guess they got it done. I don't know how I feel about it. They definitely need some more edge work and edge help, but it is what it is. This was one of the options out there. I would have rather went after someone like Jadeveon Clowney or Zadarius Smith, but they decide to go after Von Miller, sign him to a 1 year deal. And again, don't know the details yet. I would be very surprised if it is a lot of money. I would be very surprised. So you look at his stats here. We all know what type of player he was up until when he went to the Bills, the 2022 season. Before that, one of the best players in the league. One of the best players in the league. And 2022 still had a decent season. In 11 games, had 8 sacks. 2023, 0 sacks, which is crazy. 2024 had 6 sacks. So honestly, had a solid season. 8 QB hits. Not a lot of 7 TFLs. 2023 was a bad season from him, but had a decent season, and it is what it is. A bunch of people in the chat are saying pay Terry. I don't disagree. I mean, I made a video today talking about Adam Peters and how he's made a big mistake not waiting and waiting and waiting to pay Terry. So I know people are going to be complaining and saying this affects the Terry deal. I don't think this affects the Terry McLaurin deal at all. Terry's already under contract for this year. So a new deal isn't going to increase the cap hit. If anything, it's going to, decrease. They can make it work so where it would possibly decrease the cap hit for this year. Just going to keep refreshing Twitter, see if anything happens here. He broke his own news on IG, and he's looks like he's wearing 24, which very interesting number there. And Adam Peters, that is a good shot by Nikki Javala. Said, she was first of all she was there, she was reporting there, but Adam Peters was a scout in Denver, and Von Miller wearing number 24. I'm trying to think of the last person to wear that. Pretty sure, Josh Norman for sure. And hey, Ethan, my guy, I just forgot about it. But yeah, Antonio Gibson wore 24. So I don't know if anyone wore 24 last year. Maybe Michael Davis. I'm trying to see what number he wore last year. Michael Davis, Commanders. I don't even want to remember Michael Davis. And I think it was 24. So definitely Von Miller is going to work better than that. Michael Davis was atrocious. Williams says without Terry, going to go 8-7. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, there's 17 games, so two more games than that. So I mean, maybe 10-7. Terry definitely affects it. He's the guy, got his jersey, and definitely we definitely want to pay him. I think we're going to pay him. I think it'll get done. My guess is in the next few days, the next week or so. Also, stay tuned. We'll be talking about a potential other deal the Washington Commanders are going to make in the next couple of days that I'm pretty sure will happen. And it'll be a good thing with one of our rookies that we need to get signed before training camp starts. But yeah, number 24, that's what he's wearing. And Commanders roster is already old, and now they're adding Von Miller. That's fine. Veteran presence, like Woody said in the chat. We absolutely needed edge help. We'll see what Von Miller does. I don't, you can't expect 12, 13 plus sacks, but he has done in the past. Maybe it changes scenery. Dan Quinn. If anyone's going to get the best out of him, it is Dan Quinn. It is Dan Quinn. What's up, my guy Neo, Damien? They should sign the GOAT Taylor Heineke. I mean, fishing is fun. Loves Taylor Heineke. I love Taylor Heineke too. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's see. And yeah, I understand both sides. I know a lot of people are upset about the Terry thing, and then some people are like, just let Adam Peters do his job. And I agree with both. I think there's a good balance, but I think Adam Peters could have maybe handled it better. At the same time, though, he's the GM. We're all here sitting on our couches doing whatever. And again, he's the one who really knows what's up. So, we're going to trust him, but we'll see what happens again. And yeah, guys, we got 128 people in here. Everyone smash that like button, subscribe, trying to hit 16K subscribers, posting these daily videos for you guys. But comment down below your prediction for a Terry McLaurin contract, which I believe will come in the next 7 days or so. I'm just continuing to refresh the Twitter just so you guys can see and I can see. But yeah, you got a lot of veteran guys on the roster. If you guys are just joining, yes, this is real. Yes, it's out of nowhere. It is a 1-year deal. A 1-year deal. We don't know the specifics. How much money? We don't know that. But we know it's a 1-year deal. And he's going to be wearing number 24. Good veteran presence to add to the squad. 36 years old, didn't have a lot of production in 2023. 2024, 6 sacks, so had some production. I would guess you got Dorrance Armstrong as one of your starting edge rushers, and then I would say you have Von Miller and a rotation of Von Miller, and then maybe throw in Dietrich Wise as well. That's what I would say. That's what I would say would be their rotation. They're still going to be working it out, obviously, and we'll see how Von Miller does. He still has to go out and produce, and he still has to show that he can be a starting edge rusher in this league, because last year he wasn't. He was off and on, sometimes starting, sometimes not. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I watched all these Bills games, but, definitely did see him on the sideline. So we're going to have to just, I think training camp is going to be very telling on how he is. And early on, it'll be a little bit slow. He's going to be probably, learning the defense and everything, but down the line, hopefully later on in training camp, he's getting these reps in and he's, looking good. And I think that'll be good for the Washington Commanders. And just don't write these guys off. Last year, a lot of people, were saying that, Bobby Wagner, was going to be trash. Zach Ertz was going to be trash. Austin Eckler was going to be trash. But a lot of those guys did really produce for the Commanders. So again, like I said, just chill on calling Von Miller washed. Von Miller is still an NFL player, can still produce at maybe not a high level, but he can still add something. And it's just how much can he add? Can he be, I mean, let's look at the stats in a second. I can, we'll go back to Twitter here in a second, but we're going to go ahead and look up, I was about to look up Josh Allen, but Von Miller and look up his stats. So already, got the news articles that he's on the Commanders, which, is great. But we'll look at his stats real quick just so you can see. 2-time Super Bowl champ. And, his last elite year was 2018, 14 and a half sacks. made a Pro Bowl, somehow didn't make All Pro first team. Next year, played in 15 games, had 8 sacks, still had a good year. 2020 didn't play. 2021 got traded, still had a decent year, 10 sacks in 15 games, played well in the Super Bowl as well. 2022, I'm trying to think of when he tore his ACL. It might have been 2022. Played only 8 games. Next year didn't have a good year. This past year, had a pretty solid season. And let's go ahead and look at some of the comments here. What's up, Fishin? With my guy Abdul. Make sure you guys check him out. Great Commanders YouTuber. My old roommate here, and he's talking about my roommate who actually runs a Bills account, saying that he's a big Bobby Wagner hater, my Bills friend. So we're gonna have to talk to him about Von Miller, how much Von Miller actually has, in the tank. And yeah, I think other extensions need to be made too. Frankie Louvu is going to be up in a couple years. Would love to sign him early on and try to get that done. And, Adam Peters, it seems like he's a big connections guy and loves to sign guys that he has a connection to, which a lot of guys do. But it's not like, oh, he played, with, the 49ers or anything like that. This is a guy, and I don't know why my mouth is so sensitive. This is a guy that played for the team when he was scouting. So, not a huge connection, but definitely a connection there. Real quick, I just want to look at Von Miller PFF grade. So his PFF grade, guys, was actually very good last year. 82.4, 83 pass rush. The run defense wasn't great. But at the very minimum, Von Miller can be a really, really good, situational pass rusher. At the minimum, a guy that, all right, it's 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13, they're passing. Von Miller is going to go out there and get you a sack or get you a pressure. That's at the very minimum. The best case scenario is he comes and, with, some good interior pressure, because we got a good interior defensive line, Johnny Newton, Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, then maybe he can go back to, a 9-10 sack season, which isn't crazy. He had 6 sacks last year. So just something to think about with Von Miller. He had 6 sacks in 13 games, probably not a lot of snaps. We can talk about Von Miller and, his snaps and everything later on, but let's go here and just, again, we'll go over some of the, some other information. If you guys are coming in right now, and just as I said that, they have a PFF thing right here. But he's wearing number 24, which is very interesting. That's a very interesting number for an edge rusher. I don't know what connection he has to that. I don't know what this guy Josh Brown's talking about signing Jamin Davis over Von Miller. But they did have Jamin Davis playing edge rusher last year. So give me your guys' comment down below if you guys are watching this on replay, or if you're watching now. Comment down below your grade for this Von Miller signing, assuming the money is fine. And then also comment down below your prediction for a Terry contract. For me, 3-year extension, $100 million. So for me, for the Von Miller deal in general, I would say that for the contract, I think it's going to be not a lot of money, and it's going to be heavily incentive based. So I could see him getting, a few $1,000,000 per, maybe not per, a few $1,000,000 in incentives, and maybe a certain amount per game he's active if he gets a certain sack milestone. So if he gets 5+ sacks, maybe he gets like 250,000, 500,000. If he gets 10+ sacks, maybe he gets another 500,000. And if he makes a Pro Bowl or, certain things, to give him a little bit of incentive and, just to reward him. If he does really well and he's only getting paid $5 million, he deserves to get a little bit more with incentive. So again, I don't think it's going to be a lot of money. You never know. You really never know. But it is what it is. What's up, my guy, Arthur, one of my elementary school friends, one of my best friends. Shout out to him, gifted me 1 membership. So let's see who gets it. But Arthur, got to hear your thoughts on the Von Miller signing, what you think about it. So people are saying B minus. Leslie says great signing. Again, Arthur, really, really appreciate it. Appreciate you. Let's see. Von Deal gets a B. Feel like we could have gotten someone younger, but not horrible. For me, not to nitpick here, I would have loved Jadeveon Clowney. That's probably the top signing. He's younger and has played better as a run defender. I also like Zadarius Smith, but again, it is what it is, and I think it's better than nothing. I just I was I mean at this point I kind of accepted that it is what it is, but I was just not. I don't know. Content with I wasn't content with the edge rushers they had with, in terms of the Commanders starting edge rushers and even the depth. Maybe the depth was okay, but Dietrich Wise, he's not a good starting edge rusher. He's not a good starting edge rusher. He's a good third or really good fourth, but a good third option to have, but not a starting guy. So Dorrance Armstrong, he's fine as a starter, but you needed someone else. So is Von Miller gonna be the answer? I don't know, but he's much closer to the answer than some of these other guys, and he has the potential to be a much better option than anything they have. So just be patient with Von Miller. It's going to be, it's going to take a little bit of time for, there's going to be a ramp up period. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Appreciate you, Arthur. Blindside said, I'd rather sign Pedro first alongside Terry. Hey, make it happen. But Terry's going to happen. Terry's going to happen. Don't worry about it too much. Once we get to training camp, which they report the 21st, get there the 22nd. Once that happens and he's not there, that's when you start to get concerned. If he doesn't show up and a deal's not done, like I said, I would be a little bit concerned about the situation. But right now, I would be more than a little bit concerned. Right now, I'm a little concerned. But I think it'll be fine. I think it'll get better, and they're going to take care of this. I think Adam Peters understands it. Terry just put a lot of pressure on the organization with his comments saying, they haven't talked in over a month, and he's frustrated with the lack of communication, and he wants to be with this franchise for a while, but he doesn't feel like he's being valued. All that is fair, and again, doing that publicly, I think helps his case, puts more pressure on Adam Peters and company. I know a lot of people don't think the fans matter, but in terms of the decisions that Adam Peters and them make. But when the fans are super mad and, constantly complaining, I saw it on Redskins Drive today. They had, or I guess it's Joe Gibbs Drive, I believe now. They had, signs of pay Terry. So it definitely matters. And, if there's a lot of pressure, I do think it matters. I do think it matters a little bit. And, it puts public pressure on the organization a little bit, maybe not a lot. And the good GMs, it doesn't matter. The pressure doesn't really get to them, but they hear it, and I think it matters a little bit. And Von Miller here tweets out, DC, what's good, and shows the mock-up of the uniform. Which, hey, there's a reason. There's a reason he's got the white unis on, the new white new unis and everything. What's up, Meese? Appreciate you pulling up. Blindside Fitness, how's your health, Pedro? Are you recovering well? Recovering well, man. Day by day, getting better each day. Appreciate you for asking. Appreciate all y'all in the chat. Got 200 people in here. Hit that like button, subscribe. Trying to hit 16K subscribers. We're close. But, just to sum it up, and we're just waiting right now for the details. How much is he getting paid? My prediction is under 10 million. With incentives, it'll be a little bit higher. I'm not saying it's going to be higher than 10 million with incentives, but that's just my prediction right here. So again, just continue to refresh. And and I want people saying that Von Miller affects the Terry deal. No, it doesn't affect the Terry deal at all, because Terry's still under contract for 2025. So, he's already under contract. So his cap space is already, accounted for, and a new deal would be, in the future. It would be in the future and not now. So don't worry about this affecting the Terry deal. It doesn't, like 0% basically. I'm trying to see right here, Von Miller. So last year, I'm trying to see if he had any forced fumbles. No forced fumbles, but that would be good if he can get us a forced fumble or two. He's not a big interception guy, obviously. As an edge rusher, he has 2 career interceptions. But last year, he didn't have a bad year. I'm actually going to look at his game logs here and see how many. Actually, does it show it here? Just his snaps, because I know they had him on, a little bit of a snap count. They didn't have him playing a lot last year, so they had him playing 33% of the snaps. 33% of the snaps. I'm actually going to post a tweet about that because he played in 33% of the snaps and still had 6 sacks. That is impressive. Obviously, none of these edge rushers play 100% of the snaps. It's very hard. Even in his rookie year, which was the highest percentage of snaps he played, was 90%. But a lot of these guys, it's like 75, 80% of the snaps. And, in his heyday, his prime, he was playing like low 80s is probably, his average. So 33% of the snaps and 6 sacks. That is impressive. I would like to see him play more than 33% of the snaps if possible. He played 61% of the snaps in 22, and that was with only playing 11 games. So if he played, more, he would have, he was playing a decent amount of snaps in 2022 before, he tore his ACL. So the ACL tear definitely affected him, and has changed how healthy he is. But maybe, not playing a lot the last couple years will make it easier for him to, get in shape, not get in shape, but just, play as much as possible this year. So AJ Brown was good. What's up, Dubs family? Appreciate you pulling up an OG in the chat, doing everything but signing Terry. I mean, yes, and I understand your frustration. This was a move. I'm not saying Von Miller specifically, but signing an edge rusher was something that absolutely, absolutely needed to happen. But I understand your frustration. Should have been, been done in terms of a Terry deal. They should have, extended him last off season or, last season, but definitely early on in the season, off season, they should have been like, you know what, Terry, going to give you 30 million, because at that point I'm very, positive. I'm not 100% positive, but I think Terry would have accepted $30 million, considering DK at that point didn't get a deal. Jamar didn't have a deal. I'm trying to think of who else. Garrett Wilson, and there was like maybe one other guy. He would have been the fourth highest paid receiver, I believe, if they gave him like $30.5 million a year. And I'm sure he would have taken that. But now, the longer you wait, the more guys get paid after you. And that's just, or get paid, the longer you wait, the more guys get paid. And, that's what's happened. Jamar doesn't impact it too much just because, Jamar is the best receiver in football and he's super young. But Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf certainly impacted the deal. So it is frustrating, and I understand it that it's taken this long and they still haven't got it done. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Just going through my Twitter notifications, so it's not all gonna be football related. This is what Kime said. Said Miller was among a handful of vets still available. Washington had looked at D-Law in free agency and had interest in Joey Bosa. They'll now add another piece to the pass rush. So makes sense. I would have said, the guys I would have been interested in, Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney. Wasn't too interested in Von Miller, but also was just casually looking into it. And it looks like, before and now after looking more into it, it looks like, he still can play a little bit. It's just a matter of how much can he play. Because again, had 6 sacks last year, graded out pretty well in PFF, but playing only 33% of the defensive snaps is concerning to me. And, I would like him to play more, but maybe at this point in his career, maybe that's all he's doing. Maybe he's only a 30 to 40% guy. And, maybe, Ryan Kerrigan, his last year with the Commanders or Redskins, I think at that point, maybe it was football, I think it was Redskins. He was, he wasn't the same player, but he was getting so many sacks in so few opportunities. So maybe that's what we can get. Maybe that's what we can get out of Von Miller. But He played in 13 games, so maybe if let's say he played in those 17, it would have been closer to like 43, 44% of the snaps, but it is what it is. Cool Beans says after they blew the Dante Fowler deal, they definitely need to sign a productive sack leader, 10 plus sacks minimum. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say 10 plus sacks minimum for Von Miller. I don't think he's that guy. He was that guy, but maybe eventually. What's up, Gerald? Appreciate you pulling up. And then let's see. Meese says, too bad Terry can't take a discount like Godwin. Yeah, it is what it is. But, the amount of stuff he's gone through in Washington, I mean, come on now. Like, he deserves the money, man. He deserves the money. Muddy says, start me. Traveling Alien says, 6 sacks for guys age. Probably don't play a lot as good. He isn't going to be, every down starter with 10 sacks or more. And that's a good point. And what I would say, I was talking earlier, I think Dietrich Wise is a good third option to have. Maybe what you can do is it'll be a split. Von Miller and Dietrich Wise on that side, and then you got on the other side Dorrance Armstrong, who's playing like, hopefully you can get him playing 85% of snaps. And then maybe Javonte Jean Baptiste comes in sometimes, Jacob Martin, some of the other guys on that side. However you want to divvy it up. But Dietrich Wise and Von Miller can be your two main guys on one side, and then Dorrance Armstrong on the other side. I think that would work out. Um, and yeah, I think they will be fine. But you just need some big plays, like David Aldridge here is saying. If he can make a couple big plays, one big play a game, that's all you need. You don't need him to play 50, 60 snaps a game. If he can just if he can get as many big plays as possible this season, that's what you want. Hey, Amanders is a great account on Insta, so I believe we'll let Meest reveal if he wants. Daniel says Von prone to injuries and gets hurt most seasons. Hopefully he's healthy for us. Yeah, that is true. And hopefully though, this off season he wasn't with the team. He didn't. He wasn't OTAs, minicamp, all that stuff. So, that stuff might take a little bit of a toll on the body. So, maybe getting a rest and everything is good for him. Again, though, at this point in his career, he's 36 years old. He's an edge rusher in this league. That stuff is hard to, that stuff's, at 36, it's hard to play 60, 70% of the snaps. It really doesn't happen. So the Commanders tweeted about it. It's not official yet, so they're gonna have to, yeah, they're gonna have to wait until the pen hits the paper, and we're gonna have to wait for that in terms of how much money he's getting. But I think it's a good signing for the Commanders. Maybe not the best signing, but it's a good signing. Von Miller will be comeback player of the year. We'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. But just get me, like David Aldridge and JP were saying. Just give a couple you know, impact plays a game, and that's making a big difference. That's making a big difference. So if that means 6-7 sacks in the season, that's fine. I mean, again, like I said, 6 sacks in 33% of the snaps on the season. I mean, that's very impressive. That's very impressive. I don't know. I didn't watch. So I don't know if he got lucky on some of those, or he just finds the quarterback, which I think that's more likely the scenario. Yeah. So for me, best case scenario with Von Miller is the dude is healthier than he was in the past, and he's able to play he's able to play all the games, which if he played all the games last year, he would have been like 40, 45% of snaps. So, he's healthy and he's able to play some more games and more snaps, and gets you like 55% of the snaps on the season, gets you like 8.5 sacks and just making big plays, and is, a veteran in that edge room and can help some. I guess the only real young guy is Javonte Jean Baptiste, so can help that guy a little bit. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I think it's a good Dante Fowler replacement, like Benjamin Q said. You're getting him for I would say pretty cheap. We don't know yet. Again, just gotta wait and see. but I think it'll be, relatively cheap for the Commanders to get Von Miller in the building wearing number 24. It's a 1 year deal. Those are the things we know. He's coming to the Commanders. He's wearing 24, and it's a 1 year deal. The contract, we don't know that yet. I would assume there's, incentives in the deal. It's not going to be too much money at this point, July 16th. These players, they don't have a lot of leverage. So the Commanders don't absolutely need him. He's going to be a nice addition, I believe, but they don't absolutely need him like some of these other teams. So, yeah. So, yeah. And I think, let's see, Cap 78, appreciate you pulling up, man. Says, hope you're doing great, my friend. Glad to see you live. Yeah, doing good, man. Hopefully you're doing good too. Yeah, I think some of these people, saying he's old, sure, but some of these older guys they still play. Zach Ertz, yeah, he's not a star. He's not a top 5 tight end in the league, but he still produced last year. He still made so many big time catches, big play moments. The Falcons touchdown that won us the game. Lions touchdown. I mean, the guy just made plays, man. And same thing with Bobby Wagner for the most part. Made a lot of plays. Was a good linebacker. Austin Eckler was hurt, so that was unfortunate. But when he was on the field, he was pretty efficient. Would run the ball pretty well, and then catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he was just he's a bullet, man. Just running through defenses, not even players, just running through, and getting untouched a lot of times until, 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. And that was really good to see. So just because you're old doesn't mean you can't produce. And I think Von Miller still can produce. It's just a matter of what is his role going to be. I would lean on he's going to be a situational pass rusher and, a little bit more than a situational pass rusher. That would be my guess, is a guy that is going to be in on almost all third downs and occasionally will be in for first and second downs. That's my guess. But we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. Maybe he feels like he can do a little bit more and he can be a 60% snap guy a game. I don't know. We got 240 people in here. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're really close. I don't know. Maybe we hit it while I'm on stream. I don't know. Close to 15,600. So we're like 510 away. But we're gonna hit it soon. And just hit that like button. Appreciate all y'all for coming in. I know it's late, but the Commanders like to do this to us. Late time, late news. I'm gonna keep refreshing, guys, just to see. So Nikki says 1 year deal. We already know that. I told you guys that. The one thing I did want to talk about. I mentioned it earlier. I did mention it earlier, but Trey Amos still is unsigned. I made a video about that. It's not a huge deal, but when you get to training camp and he's not signed, that is when it's a deal. It's a little bit of a big deal. But he's not signed yet. But 30 out of the 32, second round picks were unsigned up until today. It's because one of them, I think the Texans, Jaden Higgins, got a fully guaranteed deal. And now all the other players want that. So that was that's been a little bit concerning. But one guy today, I think from the Bucks, don't know who it was, but he got signed. So that, and Adam Schefter said that he expects the snowball effect. So I think Trey Amos, my guess, signed tomorrow or the next day. Rookies report on Friday, I believe, or what today's? Yeah, Friday. So honestly, my guess is tomorrow, 5 p.m. I'll be making a video about Trey Amos being signed. Sip Nodat says, Von Miller and Wagner Luvu. Yep, I agree. Cap 78, man, appreciate being a new channel member. I'm going to, get all that done in terms of, some of the perks for y'all. Maybe do some, community posts and some streams for the members. So we'll get all that fixed. I know y'all got some emojis you can use, but we're gonna fix that up for y'all. It's a good reminder today. Getting 2 members. Been dealing with a lot, but now got a lot of time to just chill and do some work. So I'll definitely fix that up. If you guys got any suggestions on perks, let me know. Jameer Gibbs edit. Yeah, I mean, Jameer Gibbs is insane. Absolutely torched us. But I mean, I don't know if y'all watched the quarterback series, but the Commanders were actually featured a lot. They were featured a lot in that series on Netflix. So it was good to see, the Commanders. And every game they did play in that, they won. So they beat the Falcons, they beat the Lions, and who was the other quarterback? Who was the other quarterback? Joe Burrow, the Bengals. They beat the Bengals too. Again, Cap 70, appreciate you. I need a B Rob. I need B Rob to get over 1,000. I don't know if that's gonna happen, man. I would highly doubt it. But hey, miracles do happen, man. Miracles do happen. So don't think we got any new news right now. So we'll stick around for a few more minutes. Just yeah, we'll stick around for a few more minutes. Cool Bean says I would trade B Rob for Gibbs, man. Yeah. I mean, the Lions wouldn't though. The Lions wouldn't. Gibbs is amazing, and B Rob, let's just say, is not. B Rob's a good guy. He's chill, but he's not an RB1 in this league. He really is not, in my opinion. He's not an RB1. He just, he's not explosive. He gets hurt too much, and honestly, he's not even a good short yardage guy. Like I don't know. He can sometimes get you a couple yards, but I didn't even think he was that good of a short yardage guy. Good pass pro from what I've seen. And I think, he's honestly a better receiving back than I thought he would be. Appreciate you, Caps 78. Hopefully the Caps have a good year this year. Yeah, he's a good backup, man. If you need, if your first guy, if your workhorse goes down and you don't he can't play for a game or two, you have B Rob in there, he can hold it down for a game or two. That's why you would have B Rob. Pranav says, is Noah Brown still injured? So I haven't heard like an official update, but from the things I've heard, he's good. He's going to be good to go for even training camp. They were saying like a month ago or something that like it wasn't as bad as they thought and that, he's going to be fine. So don't know for sure, but would be, would expect him to be good even for training camp, but definitely for the start of the season. Bob Bowser says, "Pay Terry, man. I'm right there with you, but we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. My guess, though, is a couple days before training camp or day before training camp. But it will be interesting if we get to training camp and he's not signed if he goes." Gemini says, "Von Miller? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Yep, he is here. He is going to be signed, not officially yet." Charles says Albert Hansworth 2.0. Just chill, man. Von Miller might not be the same type of player he was, but here's the thing: we're not paying him Hansworth type of money, and he's not, a Hansworth type of guy. So, the Commander's gonna be fine. I don't think it's like that at all. And yeah, so Cap says if Eckler stays healthy, I think the RB room is good with that line. I think it'll be fine. It really depends on Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, how good he is. And I got you, bro. I understood. But it comes down to how good Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is. If he balls out and if he can add, maybe not balls, if he adds something to this team and to this running back room, he's explosive and stuff early on, then I think by the end of the season, he might be your RB1. His numbers might not show it by the end of the year, but he'll be a good player. So, but that's going to be a situation where we'll know in training camp in the preseason how good he is. My guess is they're going to stick with B Rob and Eckler, but B Rob's on a short leash. I like Chris Rodriguez, man. I think he's a good back, and every time he's been given a chance, he's balled out. He really has. Chris Rodriguez, my guy, man. Secondary has to show me something this year. Yeah, they do, but I think they'll be good. Safeties kind of scare me a little bit, but we'll see. B Rob is an end zone demon, low key. Vaughn hasn't been the same since he got hurt. Yeah, Lattimore. Yeah, Lattimore is the X factor, honestly. Terry turning 30, but didn't start playing until 24. Yeah, and that matters a little bit. I mean, he's still 30, so his body's still getting older. But yes, he hasn't gotten as many snaps in the NFL, but he did get a lot of snaps in college. So that is something that you do have to, factor in. Mile Highs, Broncos fan, I'm assuming, got the Broncos PFP, says, take care of Vaughn. Hey, we will. I mean, I'm sure he'll be happy with Dan Quinn, Joe Witt. This culture's good. The coaching staff's good. I think, we're definitely going to take good care of him. hopefully he can take care of us and make some good plays like he did for y'all, and get us to a Super Bowl, and hopefully win us one. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves there, but that's the goal. Obviously, that's the goal. After you make a NFC championship, in the first year regime, the standards are high, and maybe they're too high, but that it is what it is, honestly. Let's see any more posts before we get into there. I got some weather tweets. It's going. I mean, if you guys are in the DMV area, I mean, the thunder is insane right now. Corvus says, "What Vaughn do last year? 6 sacks in 13 games, I believe. Only played 33% of the snaps. Von Miller, you think would be tough? I mean, yeah, maybe. Not only is Terry top 10, don't take him away from Jaden. Pay the man his money. Yeah, he's gonna get paid. Don't worry about it. Maybe worry about it a little bit, but I think right now, it's still very, very, very likely that a deal gets done. Yeah, Terry run down that fumble. Was it a fumble or was it I think it was from what I remember, I was about to say Jalen Brown. A Jalen Smith, was it Jalen Smith interception on the Cowboys game? But it might have been a fumble. You might be right. Jalen Smith, the linebacker. Comment down below because I am interested if it was a fumble or if it was a interception. But Vaughn wants third ring. Oh, I thought you said third string. He wants his third ring, of course, man. 3 rings, 3 different franchises as an edge rusher. I mean, that's impressive, and that shows that you are part of the reason these teams are winning. Do you think Terry paid like a top 5 receiver? Yeah. I mean, let me pull it up, but he'll be paid around that. He'll be paid around that. He wants 30 plus, and you know, we'll see if he gets it. I mean, right now, pulling up the list, Jamar is one. He's not getting paid that. So if he wants to, DK is getting paid 33. If he gets paid 33 and like a dollar or something, he'll be the number 4 paid quarterback in the NFL, or not quarterback. He wishes receiver in the NFL, and he'll be fine. So, I think that's definitely would get it done for him. I just think the Commanders, aren't necessarily with that. They don't want to go. That's not what they want to do. So, I understand it, but it is what it is. Mile High says Washington ain't winning a Super Bowl anytime soon. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. They had a really good year last year, and they added some pieces. They got an elite quarterback. I think they have a chance. They have a chance for sure, and they got a quarterback on a rookie deal, so that definitely matters. We got 200 people in here. Got 86 likes. I know 100 of y'all can hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes right now. I mean, I know that's easy, but we can get more than that. But I'm just going to wait here for a few more minutes, see if any more details, um, you know, arrive, see if we can, see anything. But right now, it's just looking like 1 year deal. Von Miller to Commanders, wearing number 24, and he's going to ball out this year. That's what we want. And this is not affecting, guys. This does not affect the Terry McLaurin deal just because of if he gets a new deal. He's already under contract this year. If anything, it would lower the cap hit for this year. That's a video for another day in terms of the breakdown and everything. But we can talk about that later. We got 94 likes. I guess now we got 102. Let's keep going up. Let's keep going up. Go to 150. I mean, we still got 200 people in here. So just hit that like button, man. It's free and it really helps out the algorithm. Subscribing is great, donating is great, but just hitting that like button and commenting like you guys are in the chat right now, it helps so much. You guys don't know the algorithm; it really does help out. And I'm just gonna try to read all y'all comments. Appreciate you, Muddy. Appreciate you, Neo. Pranav says, I honestly think they're just trying to see how many guys we can get before we can give Terry a deal. But the thing is, the longer you wait, man, the more guys that are gonna get paid before Terry, and the higher the price is going to be. It just takes too long. I mean, not that it takes too long. They're taking too long, and I think it negatively impacts, the whole situation. It's doesn't save them money, and then also it leads to more drama, and you don't want that. And the longer you wait, the more drama it's going to be, and you don't want this to be a distraction during training camp. If Terry's there, it's going to be a distraction, but at least he's there. If he's not there, if he's not there, it's going to be even more of a distraction. So, okay, it was a pick. Appreciate you looking through that. But yeah, Jalen Smith, I remember that. I was pretty mad, but Terry McLaurin hawked him down. I think it did end up, saving us there. But Ricardo Wood, appreciate you pulling up, says, Vaughn and Bobby will lock it down. Let's see. Who else? I love Terry. I'm trying to see what else was. Michaels was getting the right vets at the end of their careers, get you a discount. Someone said $32 million a year. Would be very shocked if that's the case, but yeah, there's no way. Again, I don't see anything about that. My guess is it's going to be under 10 million. That's my guess. But we are just going to have to wait and see. So Mally G says it's a trade official. It's not a trade. It's just a signing. It's not official, but it's as close to official as you can get. He's posted on his IG, on his Twitter. The Commanders have posted about it. So probably be official tomorrow. We're going to have to wait and see the contract details. But yeah, the Broncos are a good team, man. They're a good team. The Commanders are a good team. Let's all be positive here. I mean, the Broncos, they got a good quarterback. They got, some good defensive players. Their cornerback trio is insane, man. But still got 180 people in here, man. 113 likes. Let's get that like button up, man. Let's get that like button up. But my guess on the Von Miller contract, you guys can guess too. I would say, I just don't know, man. But I would say like 5 to 10 million a year for 1 year, and then some incentives. I can't see it be much more than that at this point in his career. Cap says I think he gets 3 years, 93 million, 65 guaranteed, team option on year 3. I don't know about the team option, but at 3 years, 93 would be a good deal for the Commanders. I mean, that's 31 mil, and that's 65 guarantee. That's really good for him. So again, for me, that makes sense for both sides, but Terry might want more. Maybe the team doesn't want to pay him that. But the team's got to suck it up, and they just got to pay him, man. He's worth it. He's a franchise. Jaden Daniels is a franchise, but before Jaden Daniels, it was Terry, man. And Terry was here during the dog days, the days when no one wanted to be here, and he was catching passes from Garrett Gilbert, Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins, Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, who else? Logan Thomas, Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. Like, I'm missing some names, but he was here during the dog days, and he deserves to get paid. So I don't blame him for I do not blame him for wanting a little bit extra money on the last. This is the last big contract he's going to be able to get, so he wants to get it done. So let's see. Just gonna refresh Twitter a couple more times, but like I said, man, really appreciate all y'all. I mean, I actually didn't say it, but appreciate all y'all for pulling up, man. I mean, we got 160 people in here, so any more questions y'all have, go ahead and put in the chat. But hit that like button, so even after the stream's over, the views are still going to go up, and more people are going to be able to watch the video and watch the stream back, which is important to me. So appreciate all y'all for pulling up. I like the deal. Could have been someone else like Jadeveon or Zadarius Smith that I would like more, but I still think it's a good deal. It's someone it's a position they needed to upgrade. Going in to the season with Dorrance Armstrong and Dietrich Wise as your top pass rushers, with only like Javonte Jean-Baptiste and like Jacob Martin, like just not enough, man. It's not enough. And yeah, so it couldn't happen. Michael says, would you trade Terry for Mike? I mean, it's not going to happen. So let's see. We'd all pitch in $20 per ticket per home game towards Terry. He's one of the face our franchise. Hey, I'm sure a lot of people would pitch in some money for Terry, but hey, the team is going to get it done. The team is going to get it done, and they'll make it work. But That is it for today's stream. 165 people in here. Appreciate every single one of y'all that tuned in, that are watching it. If you guys are watching it on replay and are still here, go ahead and comment down below. We're going to do an OG, the chat can decide. Give me an OG player, or not even OG, anyone from like the 2010s or before that, the people on the replay can comment down below. And we're going to go ahead and we'll know if you watched, if you commented this player. What's up, Saswa, my guy? Saw him today. Got some DCG. If you know, you know. But comment down some, OG players right now in the chat if you guys are still here. And we'll go ahead and do that. If Mark Ripien's one, maybe we can do that. See if we get a better one. Justin Simmons is one. I like Roy Helu Jr. I know I might have done that before, but he is, more of my era than Mark Ripien. But, Robert Kelly, that's a good one too. Might have to do that. I think I did it. I'm not sure. I know I did like Matt Jones, Samaje Perine. Let's see. Michael says, Pedro, you took cardiac commanders seriously. Yeah, man, pretty much. All those close games, man, I guess it had an impact. Says, glad you're feeling healing up nice. And yeah, appreciate you for that one. All right, we're going to go ahead. I like all the suggestions. I do. Mark Ripien, Stephen Davis, and then also, who else? Robert Kelly, Roy Helu Jr. We're going to go ahead. We'll go Robert Kelly, but name all of them: Stephen Davis, Roy Helu, and Mark Ripien, if you're a real one. I really appreciate it. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.